All right, so the Texas school shooting has got everyone thinking about the topic of preventing gun violence. Now, here in Virginia, when Democrats were in power, they were able to pass through a lot of gun violence prevention measures. There were universal background checks and a limitation of buying one handgun a month, even a red flag law. But one thing Democrats were not able to do, Jeff Shapiro, is an assault weapons ban. What do you think the future of that is in Virginia?
And post Uvalde, Virginians are reminded that that assault weapon ban remains unfinished business. An assault weapon, an AR-15, is alleged to have been used in the Texas tragedy. The reason Virginia Democrats couldn't get that through is because Virginia Democrats sort of came to blows over just how far-reaching that prohibition could be. But all of this is a reminder that all of these firearms restrictions hinge now on a single vote in the Virginia Senate. The Republicans control the House. They are supportive of broadened gun rights. The Democrats barely control the Senate, and of course, they are supportive of restrictions. So this is clearly going to contribute to the debate heading into the 23 legislative elections when Virginians will decide the House and the Senate.
So, on the topic of divisions between the House and the Senate, the major one right now, of course, is over the budget. We still don't have a budget agreement several weeks after the General Assembly session ended, although lawmakers are scheduled to return to the Capitol on the 1st of June. What do you
Yes.
think the outline of this budget agreement might be?
Well, details are hard to come by, and I would say that's not for lack of trying by reporters, but a lot of this is intentional. Again, the Senate Democrats with a single seat majority want to keep all of their votes together. The Republicans who control the House 52-48, they want to keep all of their folks together. So they're trying to, clearly there's some effort here to sort of minimize defections. You know, what this budget includes, principally tax cuts, will be very interesting because, as we know, the governor proposed $5.5 billion in givebacks. The House went along with that. And the Senate was far, far less generous. So we're obviously going to see something in between. What's going to be really interesting about the budget is, assuming it is approved, and we're talking about a 2-year, $158 billion behemoth, the governor will only have 7 days to act on it. And I think that we've discussed before, for a newbie governor, a $158 billion budget that covers 2 years worth of spending, that's a lot to wrap your head around. And so it leads one to believe that at least the Democrats and the Republican institutionalists sort of enjoy their procedural advantage, their experiential advantage here, and want to minimize the likelihood of significant changes or attempted significant changes, either by their own members and particularly by the governor.
All right, so we're heading into, of course, election season, and Republicans will be choosing four of their congressional candidates in the June primary. But over the weekend, three of these congressional districts, Republicans chose their candidates in a convention. Jeff Shapiro, what happened with those Republican conventions over the weekend?
Well, there was one surprise, one huge surprise up at your end of I-95 in the 10th congressional district held by Jennifer Wexton, a Democrat, and a district still friendly to Democrats. The Republicans chose a Vietnamese American and retired naval officer by the name of Hung Cao. And he really kind of came out of nowhere, defeating Janine Lawson, who's on the Prince William County Board of Supervisors and also had a pile of cash. Cal came across as kind of Trumpy, emphasized a bunch of themes that had been successful for Governor Youngkin in the campaign last year for governor. Among them, sort of this anti-wokeness shtick, but he also, appealed to this increasingly diverse Northern Virginia district, which is 44% non-white, 17% Asian American. While the boundaries and the voting history seem to favor Jennifer Wexton going forward, nonetheless, this is going to be an interesting matchup. And if Democrats are having as difficult a time in Virginia as they seem to be having elsewhere, maybe someone like Jennifer Wexton could have a fight on her hands.
Well, we'll see as the election season unfolds. That's all the time that we've got for this week. My name is Michael Pope, and we've been joined by Jeff Schapiro of the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Talk to you next week.
Have a red, white, and blue weekend.